This is Aisha, and tonight her heart was bleeding out in silence. Not from a wound, but from 1,000 tiny cuts. She lived in the constant background hum of her peers' validation. Their laughter felt like a language she couldn't speak. Their acceptance a VIP section she wasn't allowed to enter. She knew the checklist, the perfect grades, the right job, the supportive personality. Yet, after every effort, she was met with the same cold indifference. A text message ignored. A coffee invitation that never included her. A community event where she lonely scrolling her phone, a shield against the crushing feeling of being unwanted. Everywhere she looked, the universe seemed to whisper. The same judgment, you are not enough. This was the constant, burning truth of her 20s. Perpetually auditioning for a life she was never cast in. Rejection is spiritual displacement. It hollows the soul. So, Aisha tried harder. She changed her focus, her conversation, even her personality, to fit the changing expectations of others. But the emptiness only grew wider. One night, after another stinging disappointment, she sat down on her prayer mat. Not to ask Allah for a friend, but to admit her failure. Ya Allah, I failed to make them love me. I give up. She didn't open the Qur'an seeking an answer. She opened it seeking a distraction. But her eyes fell on the verse, Verily, the hearts find rest only in the remembrance of Allah. The truth hit her. The reason her heart was bleeding was that she had connected its validation to temporary things, to fragile, imperfect people. She wasn't rejected by Allah, but she was being rejected by others, so she would turn to Allah. The pain wasn't punishment, it was a hidden mercy. A divine redirection from them to him. Aisha stopped focusing on what others took away. She realized the biggest rejection was her own neglect of her Creator. This became her daily practice. Her prayer changed from demanding validation to seeking forgiveness, astaghfirullah. I seek forgiveness for every time I sought acceptance from a creation and ignored the Creator. Every time the ache of rejection returned, she did not send a text or check social media. She performed wudu and stood in salah. She traded human opinion for divine presence. In seeking forgiveness and standing in obedience, she found a strange, sweet form of connection. She found love, because Allah Al-Wadud is the one who loves. He doesn't reject those who humbly turn to him. Days turned into weeks. The faces that once rejected her seemed dimmer. The fear of missing out faded. Why crave a small, temporary house of acceptance when you are welcomed into the eternal home? Aisha finally understood the profound meaning of Al-Wadud, the loving one. The love of Allah is unconditional, always present, and perfectly sufficient. It is the only validation required. She began investing her energy, not in pleasing people, but in pleasing the one who mattered. She pursued knowledge, volunteered, and used the time she once spent chasing validation to build her connection with Allah. The pain hadn't vanished, but the need for human validation had. Her heart was now full not with people's fleeting opinions, but with the permanence of Allah's acceptance. She was home. The world's rejection is rarely a judgment of your worth. It is often a redirection to your source. You cannot be rejected, by mankind and accepted by Allah at the same time. If you are rejected by the world, Allah is simply clearing space for His love. So, let me ask you, what if the rejection you're feeling right now, is simply Allah clearing space in your heart for Himself? Embrace the mercy of your empty seat and turn to the one whose acceptance never fails.